All right, all business is local. Pretty catchy, huh?
Yeah, it really is.
But, it got me thinking, what if it's, like, more than just a slogan? What if, like, every cup of coffee, every website, even this deep dive we're doing right now
Yeah.
ties back to, local communities somehow?
It's a really intriguing idea, and it really makes you rethink how we usually see local.
Right.
We tend to think, mom and pop shops on Main Street.
Or farmers markets, yeah.
Exactly, farmers markets. But this article, it's from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce website, just came out January 16th, 2025.
Okay.
It takes a much wider view.
It does. It's all about Suzanne Clark's keynote. She's the chamber CEO.
Right?
It's about the state of American business.
Yeah.
And she's basically saying that even those huge companies like the Amazons, the Googles, they have a surprisingly local impact.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Your first job, maybe it was at a big box store, maybe a chain restaurant.
Yeah.
Local. The internet you're using to, listen to us right now.
So,
the electricity powering your device. All local companies making that happen.
I never really thought about it like that. It's like, it's not just about choosing to go to the local bakery over the supermarket chain, right?
Right.
It's this whole web of...
Yeah, this interconnectedness.
Yeah.
We're all a part of it.
Exactly. And the article, it actually uses the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex as, like, this prime example.
Okay.
This local economic engine. Booming job growth, innovation, really diverse mix of businesses.
So Dallas-Fort Worth is, like, killing it. But what's the secret? I mean, can other cities copy that?
Well, that's what's so interesting. The article's saying there's no one-size-fits-all, right?
Yeah.
But thriving local economies, they often share certain traits.
Okay, like what?
A diverse range of businesses, so you're not just stuck with one industry. Skilled workforce, access to global markets, good infrastructure, transportation, internet, all of that.
So it's about making this, like, fertile ground where all kinds of businesses can grow. It's not just luck. No, it's intentional.
It's planned.
But Clark, she also emphasizes not every community is experiencing this boom, right?
Right.
There are places being left behind.
Yeah.
That disparity, that's a big concern.
And that leads into her whole argument about needing economic growth, right?
Exactly.
It's not just, making the rich richer.
No.
It's about lifting everyone up.
That's it. She says growth is, like, fundamental to solving societal problems.
Okay.
She's not saying it's a magic solution, but without it,
yeah,
we're kind of stuck.
And this is where it gets interesting. She compares a 3% growth rate to a 2% growth rate. Doesn't sound like a big difference at first, does it?
No, not really.
But the long term?
Huge.
Oh, yeah. It's staggering.
Yeah.
At 3%, the average person, their living standard, it doubles in, like, 20 years.
Wow.
But at 2%, over 30 years.
So, like, a decade longer.
A decade longer to reach that same level of prosperity.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that sense of urgency, that people want things to get better faster.
It really resonated with voters in the last election across the board.
It seems like it.
Yeah, people are ready for action.
Absolutely.
So that brings us to Clark's policy recommendations.
Yep.
She's saying the 119th Congress, this new administration, they got to focus on 3 key things to boost local economies.
Okay, so like a roadmap to prosperity.
Exactly.
All right, let's break it down.
Okay.
First up, rolling back all this excessive regulation.
Yeah.
I got to admit, regulation, not usually like the most exciting topic.
Right.
But Clark's saying it has a real impact, not just on businesses, but on, like, all of us.
Exactly. Overregulation, it costs a lot. The chamber, they estimate it's costing the U.S. economy like $1.4 trillion.
Whoa. Trillion with a T.
Trillion with a T. And those costs, they trickle down to us.
To consumers.
Through higher prices, slower wage growth, fewer job opportunities.
So less red tape could actually mean more money in our pockets.
Potentially, yeah.
And a better job market makes sense.
Yeah.
But wouldn't less regulation also be kind of risky in other areas?
It could be.
Like what about, consumer safety, environmental protection? How does Clark address that?
She does. She says regulation is sometimes necessary, obviously.
To protect people?
To protect consumers and the environment. Her point is we need to find, like, a balance.
Okay.
A smarter way to do regulation, safeguard the important stuff without stopping innovation and growth.
So smarter, not necessarily less regulation.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the second thing on our roadmap?
Second priority is keeping those 2017 tax reforms.
Okay.
They're supposed to end this year, and Clark says letting that happen would be bad.
For the economy.
For businesses, for the whole economy.
Yeah. Remind me, what were the main arguments for and against them back then?
Oh, yeah, that was a big debate.
It was heated.
Supporters, like the chamber, they said the lower corporate tax rate would make U.S. businesses more competitive.
Globally.
Globally, yeah. Lead to more investment, job creation.
Okay.
They also said the simplified tax code would mean less paperwork for businesses, free up resources for growth.
Makes sense.
Opponents, though, they said the cuts just helped the rich.
Corporations and individuals.
Yeah, and that the lost revenue would mean cuts to social programs or more national debt.
Right.
And they were worried the tax cuts wouldn't actually create many jobs and that corporations would just pocket the extra cash instead of, investing in their workers or communities.
Yeah. Okay. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
So basically, Clark's saying, whether you like them or not, those 2017 reforms have helped the economy, and ending them would be a step backwards.
Exactly. She thinks keeping those lower tax rates is super important for growth, especially locally.
Interesting. Okay, on to number 3. What's her last priority for local growth?
The third thing she talks about is participating in the global economy.
Okay.
She points out that international trade already supports tons of American jobs, makes stuff cheaper for consumers too.
Right.
But she also gets that people are worried about globalization.
And its effects on local communities,
Yeah.
which is where tariffs come in, right?
Exactly.
I remember that being a big deal a few years ago.
Yeah.
What's Clark's take on that?
It's a tricky one. She says tariffs can be a good tool sometimes,
Like when?
like to protect our industries from unfair competition from other countries.
Okay.
But she's not a fan of just using tariffs all the time.
Blanket tariffs.
Yeah, because she says they end up hurting us as consumers.
By raising prices.
Exactly.
I've actually noticed that the price of my favorite imported coffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's gone up quite a bit. It makes you think, how much are tariffs affecting us without us even knowing?
That's a great point. We often don't see those hidden costs.
Right.
But Clark's stance is that the U.S. needs to be smart about trade.
Strategic.
Strategic, yeah. Open up new markets for our businesses, but also protect our workers and industries from unfair stuff.
So finding that balance between, protecting ourselves and being open to trade.
Exactly. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
But overall, Clark seems pretty optimistic about the American economy,
Yeah, especially locally.
especially at the local level.
Yeah, she sees a lot of potential in local businesses to, create jobs, build strong communities. And she thinks by focusing on these 3 things, reducing regulation, keeping those tax reforms, and being smart about global trade, we can create an environment where those businesses can really thrive.
It's kind of cool how Clark connects these big economic ideas to, our daily lives.
Yeah.
It's not just all this theoretical stuff. It's about, the stores we shop at,
Right.
the jobs our neighbors have, even the prices at the grocery store.
Exactly. That's what makes it so interesting, right?
Yeah.
She's reminding us that economics isn't just something you study. It's about people,
Real people.
their lives, their hopes for the future.
And it's like a reminder that we're not just, along for the ride.
No, not at all.
We can actually make choices that, shape things.
Absolutely. We have a say both individually and, as a society.
Totally. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want listeners to really take away?
I think it's that supporting our local communities, whether it's through the choices we make or policies that help things grow, it's not just about being nice. It's in our best interest.
It's a ripple effect, right?
Exactly.
Everything we do matters.
Every dollar you spend, every business you support, even just talking about these issues,
It all adds up.
it all shapes the future.
So true. Well, this has been awesome. Thanks for diving into this with me.
It's been my pleasure.
It's given me a lot to think about, and hopefully our listeners too.
Yeah, and to everyone listening, if all business really is local, think about what you can do to support your community.
Even small things can make a difference.
Exactly.
That's it for this deep dive into the state of American business.
Great talking with you.
Join us next time for another look at what's shaping our world.